From the Owens Student Media Center and heard on Outcast OCCR, Owens Community College Radio, it's Dennis Hobson and Dion Thompson. Dennis and Dion, your hosts for The Double D Show. The Double D Show. Along with co-host Eben Corin. The Double D Show. The Double D Show.
Welcome to The Double D Show, everybody. I am Dion Thompson.
And I'm Dennis Hobson.
That's exactly right. And we also have a couple people. There's going to be a familiar face you guys are going to see, and it's our resident millennial with all the stats, Evan, down here to my right.
How you guys doing?
And we got a special guest today for our first show. His name is Albert Earl. We know him as Mick Earl. But before I go into it, I got a great story about this guy. See, a lot of people know him as the photographer and the guy that's always following Rogers and everybody around. But true story, and I want to give this man public credit. A lot of people don't know this. When I was a sophomore, I played against Mick. Believe it or not, he was tough, boxer, all that stuff. So I get moved up to varsity, and we play Rogers. And there's this little mean point guard, and I just came off of JV, so all my moves really worked good on JV. First game up against Mick, I couldn't get the ball up the court. So he kept harassing me, so I throw a little weak elbow. Mind you, I'm 150 pounds at the time. So then this guy says, man, if you ever do that again, something bad is going to happen to you after the game. So I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. We call it timeout. Go to the huddle. Never forget this guy named Roger Ward. Alan Smith said, you know he's a Golden Glove boxer. I said, he is? True. I'm not joking about this. And I said, so I tell my one friend, Speedy, I said, hey, can you bring the ball up? And once we get over half court, I'll start the offense. Mick, am I lying?
No, you're not.
So he's a nice guy. Now, I would never have admitted that story years ago, but I have to credit him for making me work on my ball handling. So, you know, that was a true story, man.
Hey, well, you know what the good thing is that you got a great memory because I can't remember anything back in my high school days.
Well, you didn't get bullied.
I don't know about that. I mean, people try to take advantage of me, but man, I can't remember anything back then. But we're excited to announce that we're having this show, and we're excited about the opportunity to sit and discuss sports and bring special people on and ask and talk about different topics. And we're looking forward to everybody enjoying and having a good time.
Yeah, and we want to thank everybody already for watching. And keep watching because this is a huge thing for I know Dennis and myself to kind of step out our comfort zone. You usually see us dressed up, but we're doing some good radio stuff and YouTube stuff, and it's going to be an outstanding show. But then we got to start the show off because there's been there's a debate that goes on every day on somebody's Facebook, somebody's Instagram, and it's about who is better, MJ or LeBron James.
And you know how I feel. My thing is, I play with Michael, but how do you compare the two? I mean, what are you going to base it off of? I mean, you got two great players, two guys that's going to go down as I'm sure as being the best players to play in the game, or top 5 to play in the game anyway. So, I mean, the only thing that I can do as far as a comparison is probably go by stats. That's why we got other people in here to talk about what they think.
I like stats too, but I also like the human element. I like the fact that, to me, in my opinion, I think LeBron James politically has done things like Bill Russell, Ali, Kareem. He stood up for some serious political views. I respect that, especially coming from his era. But I know I'm going in a lot, but I know there's a guy we have on the show who's going to give us some facts. But remember, we got that resident millennial. So, Mick, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to say this. I really don't like comparing guys from different eras because I really would like to say that you really should look at it like who's the most dominant in their era. But if you're going to compare guys from different eras, put it in, I think we should put these arguments in its proper context. For me, if you look at their total body of work, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the GOAT to me. Mm-hmm. If you look at his total body of work, I think his record in high school for 4 years was like 172 games and 2 losses. Mm-hmm. And over the course of between his freshman year in high school In college, he won. He was like 172-3. Or 172-4, something like that.
You know we got
so,
the fact
so
check
yeah,
here,
but he can check it. But it's going to be very, very similar. I know it's only 4 games he lost.
Right.
So when you look at that, and then what he done on the NBA level is just extraordinary. But in regards to the conversation about LeBron and MJ, I hear so many arguments, and what irritates me the most is the commentators who had this revisionist history. One of the things that I'd like to say before I pass it on, because I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to come back, when they say Michael Jordan ain't never faced the competition that LeBron faced, and I'm like, are you serious? LeBron never faced in the Eastern Conference playoff the talent that Mike faced. When you say, well, he played against the Warrior, who you know gonna have 4 possible Hall of Famers. Well, in Mike's first 3 years of playoffs, 2 of those playoff series was against a Boston Celtics team that had 6 All-Stars and 5 Hall of Famers. LeBron's first playoff competition was against the Wizards, and I think most people only remember Gilbert Arenas.
You checking that, Evan? You better make sure.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's the truth, though. No, you're right, man.
So when you look at that, and then after that big brother beat you up, now you go play the Pistons, who had 6 All-Stars and soon to be 5 Hall of Famers, because Aguirre and Lambeer is going to get in.
Right. Eventually.
Eventually. Oh, well, they're going to have 6 Hall of Famers if those 2 get in, because they already have 4 in with Rodman, Dumars, Isaiah, and Dantley, who Jordan faced. So they don't. We tend to omit that part of the story, which if you are a LeBron fan, you're going to omit that because it strengthens the Jordan argument. And I just don't know how they continue to omit this stuff. And then there's other data that I'll point to throughout the show that proves undoubtedly that, other than my eye test, that I think is Jordan is the best.
A lot of it, I would say the arguments come from a lot of people that really never had the opportunity to watch a Michael Jordan at his best play the game of basketball.
Absolutely.
See, and that's where I struggle with it, because I would do anything to be able to go back and watch those games, but all I get is conversational topics that you hear from anybody debating this, which just happens so often. And all I get is to go and watch LeBron. And when I see things like him dragging a team that has no business going as far as they did year after year, it's incredible to me, but at the same time, that's all I get to see. I don't get to watch Jordan play. So that's why it's kind of a struggling point from kids at my age and in my generation, is all we've really got is the stats to go on, and it always gets brought back to championships.
Yeah, I mean, but here again, that's the thing. How do you can compare all day long, but how do you come to the conclusion who's a better player if you're not looking at the overall stats or championships that's been won by Michael versus LeBron?
Well, one of the arguments, and Dennis, we were out to dinner once, and I thought you put it perfect. Like, what happened? Okay, Michael lost first few years, and he was explaining this actually to our server, and he didn't know Dennis, which is, I don't know how anybody doesn't know this guy.
Stop.
Me, I get, but this guy, you gotta know who he is.
Stop.
But the thing, Dennis, you made a point, and your point was when Mike learned to make other people better. See, that's what I look at. Jordan made other people better. When he first came in, he was scoring
selfish.
at will, very selfish, like you said. But when he said, and people talk about Scotty being great, Scotty came in averaging 7 points a game. So he was not the Scottie Pippen until Jordan said, okay, let's play one-on-one. Let's play. You played with him. I don't have to tell you. You can tell people the story.
Exactly. I just think, again, I mean, he accepted that he needed his teammates, Michael did, in order to win championships. Because, again, you talked about it. He came in as a very selfish guy. He was all about numbers, and he would produce a lot of numbers. But when he accepted the fact that, hey, I need these guys in order to win games, that's when it all started to take a big turn. Plus, he was still able to score a lot of points, be Defensive Player of the Year, be on all defensive teams for many, many years. So, again, I don't know how you compare the two.
And that's a good one in terms of one of my arguments, especially when I hear coaches talk about numbers, and I'm like, well, LeBron is a better all-around player, and I'm like, okay, you saying that because he has more assists and more rebounds, are we going to admit defense?
Yeah.
Are we going to admit defense from
And
the
you have
game
to.
of basketball?
You have to.
Especially when in every sport, everybody always say defense wins championships.
Right, it's true.
Absolutely.
Michael Jordan was the leading scorer and the defensive player of the year
Several times.
in the same
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
How you the best on offense and the best on defense, and you're not an all-around player? Not to mention, one of those seasons he averaged 32, 8, and 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy. So,
I mean, that's just, and so how people forget this stuff is incredible. Then he is the first player to ever average record 200 steals and 100 blocks in a season. But he did it back-to-back seasons. He's the only player in history to do it twice. The only two players in history besides him that done that is Akeem Olajuwon and Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
see,
You're talking about 3,500 guys, over 3,500 guys, and only 3 players in the history of the league has done that.
And I tell you what, that is good, Mick. We got plenty more. We're going to come back with some more amazing stats with what we got about this debate. So we'll see you guys.
We'd love to have you guys join the conversation with us. Send us a message on Facebook or tweet at us at Owens OCCR on Twitter or the OCCR Facebook page.
How you define success is really up to you.
For me, it's helping to make the world run.
Huh, that's one way.
Or making a living as an artist.
And that's another.
Hiring someone out of college with the right skill set.
Graduating, and without all that college debt.
You're on a roll.
Living my dreams.
Now that's success. Your success starts here. Owens Community College.
You recycle, right?
Yep, it's confusing. It's hard for all of us to recycle properly when it's this confusing. Yet recycling is the #1 thing we can do for the environment and the economy. If we do it properly, we have a solution. And it's working.
Standardized labels, they help people recycle more, and they help people recycle right. Let's recycle across America, and let's recycle right.
To be part of the standardized label solution, visit letsrecycleright.org.
I got good sea legs from a year of trying to find my footing. And I'm missing my home even more than I should. Forget all the lessons we learned, you should have been good to me. Forget all the lessons.
When you download music illegally, you're stealing from musicians, songwriters, and people like Addie, who are denied payment for work that is rightfully theirs. Do what's right. Get it legally.
Success can be hard to define.
Making a living while making a difference.
Okay, maybe not so hard.
Hiring the very best people and giving them a place to shine.
Graduating with almost no debt.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Landing a great job right here in Northwest Ohio.
Loving what I do and doing what I love.
So actually, success is easy to define. Your success starts here. Owens Community College.
All right, guys, check us out on the Owens Twitter page at OwensOCCR or send us a message on the Facebook page at OCCR. We're talking about Jordan LeBron, who's a better player. Reach out to us. We want to hear your thoughts on everything. Let's get right back into it.
Well, I just got to say, just all of us here are Ohio guys. You got to love what LeBron does.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just like I said, off the court, a lot of respect. Even on the court, we've never seen anybody 6'8", 270 that can. A lot of debates. A lot of people say, well, could he play in the air back in the day where it was more physical, where guys could hand check, as a defensive strategy? Now I think he gets hit sometimes. He doesn't like it. So I
was
I
going to
guess
say
let me ask you,
he had the body to compete. He had the body to compete. Okay, and again, I'm not saying that he couldn't compete. If you go back and you look at this kid when he was in high school, okay, he was thin, but he had so much skill and he had so much talent to where he was so much better than everybody else. Yeah. And I'm not going to shortchange him and say that he couldn't compete back in the day in a different era when Michael Jordan, all those big time guys were playing. But you're right, back in the day, you had, I think, a little more physicality in regards to the game because you could do so many things on defense that they don't allow you to do now on defense. I mean, for one, you could hand check. It was a lot of hand checking. So if I'm on defense, I can kind of take you in a direction that I wanted you to go in. Yeah. Now everything is a foul. Okay, and I know a lot of people, they get on LeBron because they say he cries a lot. But again, you can't discount or shortchange this guy's talent. He is very, very talented. But I think until he wins probably another 3 rings, I don't know that a lot of people are going to say that he's on the level of a Michael Jordan.
So where do you think he would need to win at? Because I know, Dion, you were saying you want him to stay, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if he stayed in Cleveland. That's always been my thing. People will say, well, Mike ended up going to Washington, but Mike didn't end up going to the Lakers or somewhere in Boston. Okay.
Yeah, what was in Washington?
Yeah, what was in Washington? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He went there, tail end of his career. But he stayed, to me, when he was getting beat up by those Piston teams, by all those teams, he said, you know what? I want to beat these guys. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the issues that I kind of had with Durant. You're right there in OKC. You had it right there, had the talent, and you go join the team that beat you. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have no issue with what Durant did. Well, partly because you had players that did it before him. LeBron pretty much did the same thing. Ray Allen and those guys
beat him, though, Mick. That's the difference.
Yeah, but he understood that he went to a team where he took he joined forces with the top 3 players. It was the top 3 players in the East at that time. But you had Bosh, Wade, and LeBron was the top 3 players in the East. All joined forces.
I think a lot of that problem, a lot of conversation comes into play about people getting frustrated about the guys. Kevin Durant, he's a megastar. LeBron James, a megastar. They're going to teams with other big time stars. Okay, now you talked about Ray Allen. Ray Allen wasn't a megastar, so it's okay for somebody like him to go. But when you're a big time star like those 2 guys, why don't you have guys come to play with you? Or stay where you are, I should say. Not come play with you, but stay where you are and try to win championships.
What I meant was Ray Allen and Garnett, who was a megastar, joining the Celtics.
Yeah.
Which gave them a super team.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Paul Pierce.
Yeah. So you had Paul Pierce and Rondo. That was an excellent team. And then if you look at all the situations, the Golden State Warriors still was probably the most organic team.
Mm-hmm.
Because they drafted Steph. Yeah. Draymond and Clay. Mm-hmm. And Cleveland Cavaliers had opportunity to draft Clay and Draymond. Mm-hmm. They picked 3 people before before Draymond was picked. Mm-hmm. So they actually had opportunities.
Yeah, that's a great, and that's the thing people talk about too. When you look at the draft, what's Draymond, second round pick?
Second round pick, yeah.
Steph Curry, you saw the scout report on him. Mm-hmm. They thought he was too little. They didn't think he could make it. So
and Clay was the 11th pick.
Yes, that's a good point right there. I think that's a point to me that gets overlooked when you talk about. I mean, you got to give shouts out. Who's it? Mark Jackson. He picked. Mark. They don't talk about him enough for that Golden State. He needs credit. For that.
Actually, they beat him up. They don't respect him at all, which is not fair because he pretty much put a lot of that team together.
Yes.
So it's unfair.
So one thing that you said earlier, in regards to people give LeBron credit for carrying teams to a finals, I believe that the terminology that was used in this series, he drugged this team to the finals. Most people don't know that Michael Jordan is the first and only player in NBA history to win a championship with one player averaging double figures in the finals. And Scottie Pippen is the only player that ever averaged 22 points a game. No player ever averaged over 22 points a game with Mike in the finals. Mm-hmm. So when you look at that, you can almost say, did Mike drag them? But when you know the game of basketball, you don't look at just hard numbers. It's more that goes to it than just the hard numbers that we talk about. Charles Oakley said something on Colin Cowherd's show a couple of years ago that I thought was tremendous. He said, I made Patrick Ewing and them better. And so the average person would laugh at that, right? But he was like, I was setting them hard picks for them boys to get open. I was getting a lot of them rebounds
and he's right.
starting those fast breaks.
Right.
Played against them guys, right?
Absolutely. And that's the stuff that don't get counted most of the time.
But that's why it's hard for me when I look at these Facebook arguments or whatever. Because some of the guys that comment on them just really don't know.
Have a clue.
They don't know. They never played. They just, I mean, do they watch film? Do they watch the whole game?
No, it's
hard for me.
They're going off, and Mick, you touched on it, I think, before. They're going off of who they like, who they see now.
Right.
Okay, and again, Evan, you see LeBron James.
Oh, yeah, and that's why it's hard for me.
Yeah, you touched on it. If you never had the opportunity to watch the real Michael Jordan play in a game, but I mean, as far as him, like you talked about LeBron carrying the team, Michael Jordan could carry a team too.
Oh, yeah.
He can, and he knew, let's put it this way, he knew if it was a minute to go in that game and they were down by 6, that ball was going to be in his hand, and he was going to try to do whatever. He wasn't passing to nobody. I don't care if you was open. He had 5 guys on him. He was going up and he's shooting that basketball.
You know what's so crazy to me though? I was talking to a guy, one of my stepson. He had the nerve to say he don't know if Larry Bird could play now.
Oh my God!
Are you what? It was crazy, man. When people, he's slow. He couldn't. I'm like, he was one of the most craftiest. You played against him.
Big time.
And you were athletic. The dude was crafty, man. He could get his shot.
He wasn't athletic, but he was highly skilled.
Right.
Okay.
I would argue that he was more athletic than people give him credit for.
Yeah, he probably.
You go back and watch some of his highlight film, and he was quicker than Dirk Nowitzki. He could handle the ball better than Dirk Nowitzki.
And
so
he could pass
if Dirk
better.
Nowitzki could do what he did in the league, how you gonna say Larry Bird couldn't play in this area? But that's your son, right?
Yeah.
He didn't see Larry Bird.
He didn't see that. I mean,
the highlights really don't do people justice.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. You had to watch. You really need to see the games that we used to see.
Absolutely.
You actually need to watch a game.
Because I be feeling that way sometimes. I watch Pete Maravich. I'm not even gonna lie. I watch some of the highlights and I'm like, I thought he was okay.
Pistol.
But if he's averaging, if you averaging 44 without the 3, when you're down with the coach,
you doing something right.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, you doing something right. 44
that's
points.
true.
I don't
That's
care if
a
you're
lot.
playing against a bunch of second graders. You're a grown man.
You know something I want to add before we end this discussion is that people also use the numbers don't lie thing because LeBron's numbers is so gaudy. But I want to give you an example with 3 players. John Stockton has more points, career points, and more career assists than Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. He actually has close to 7,000 more assists than Isaiah and 5,000 more than Magic. But we about to draft. Who you taking?
I'm gonna take Magic. I mean,
everybody. I mean, you gonna go off of what you know.
You're gonna take Magic or Isaiah all day long.
Right.
All day long.
Oh, yeah,
and we know this because of eye test. But if you look at the sheer numbers, it says that Stockton is a better player than those guys.
But can you
so
say,
numbers do lie.
Can you say maybe the system though? Because it was a lot.
But it's numbers.
That is true.
We're talking numbers.
That is true.
System or no system. If you say numbers don't lie.
If that's the case, then that is going to make the argument for LeBron is going to eventually pass up Michael Jordan.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, are you okay? You base it off the numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
Or
numbers
base
do lie.
It off?
That's true.
Numbers can lie.
That's your point.
In a sense.
Right.
So you got to look at eye test. You got to put the competition stuff in proper context and look at the history for what it's all worth and not omit certain information just to say that your guy is the best.
So this was what, 20, 30 years ago, somewhere in that range is when Michael played. Now we got LeBron coming through, and realistically he's going to retire within the next 5-10 years. There's been talks about him wanting to get a season in with his son maybe, if that's possible, which would be incredible, but that's going to put him at like 39 in the league still. So my thing is 20, 30 years down the road, do you guys think these stats and numbers that they're putting up are beatable, or are these guys so far ahead right now that it's almost unattainable?
Somebody always comes along.
Yeah, always.
Somebody's always going to come along. I mean, we don't know what era that person might come along in, but at the end of the day,
nobody's broke your stuff at Ohio State yet.
Because they leaving school early. They're leaving school early. So it's one
proper context.
Right. But here again, if they stayed, I mean, if you got your Deshaun Thompsons and your Michael Reds and your Jim Jacksons and those guys, somebody's gonna break it. But I mean, somebody's gonna come along in one of these eras, and they're going to be right there on the same level as Michael and LeBron.
But it's 50 years from now. LeBron's numbers are still in the top 5. That still will tell you how incredible this guy is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what people, and so I'm not knocking him as a player. He was probably in my top 5 or 6 players in history, and somebody said I'm hating. I'm like,
Who's your top 5, Mick? Because this is good. Everybody needs to hear this.
Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, Magic, Bird, LeBron.
Well, with that, Mick, thanks for coming on the show. Hey, we're going to have this guy back because I know you guys got to hear some more of what he has to say. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Join Dennis and Dion again for the Double D Show. The Double D Show. Along with co-host Evan Corin. The Double D Show. The Double D Show. An Outcome Owen Student Media Center production.